And it has been a while since we've even had this car on the channel. And the reason for that is this. We're having a typical Pittsburgh winter. It's super cold outside, extremely windy today as well. And that's the reason why I haven't really been driving the car. I want to drive it, but then I don't want to drive it. But who am I kidding? We gotta drive it. I have this Ferrari just sitting in the garage. I haven't driven this since Christmas Eve. And that was just for a little photo shoot. I didn't really drive it then either. And before that, I hadn't driven it like 3 weeks. It's almost 2 months now that I haven't properly driven this thing. So here we go. First cold start in like 2 months. Woohoo! The whole thing's vibrating because of the exhaust. It's so loud. We gotta close the garage. Woo! You can't even talk around that thing when it's starting out from a cold start, and you can't really breathe either. Damn, it smells in there, but I love that smell. Now, before we jump into the Ferrari, we're going to talk about this amazing truck instead, because today's video has been sponsored by Omaze, and they're giving you the chance to win this awesome Ford F250. This thing is completely modified. It's lifted on coilover suspension. It's got an aftermarket front bumper. It's got aftermarket wheels and tires. It's got wide body fenders in carbon fiber. It's the power stroke. It's got 450 horsepower, 1,080 pound-feet of torque. Now, the awesome thing about Omaze is that not only do you have a chance to win this awesome truck plus $20,000 in cash and all your taxes taken care of, but at the same time, you're actually supporting a great cause. Now, your donation actually goes to support a foundation that helps out kids of first responders. Now, these first responders tragically passed away in the line of duty, whether they were a nurse, a policeman, a fireman, an EMT. Your donation actually helps to secure these kids' future. So all you have to do is go to omaze.com/AutoVlog. That's omaze.com/AutoVlog. But wait, it gets even better. If you use the code AutoVlog150, you actually get another 150 entries for free, which of course increases your chances to win this awesome Ford F250. But now, I think she's warmed up. And she's also quieted down a little bit. Now, my favorite pastime in this car, and you guys know this already, is tunnels. The straight pipe V12. I mean, how can you not? You have the wrong car if you don't enjoy a straight pipe V12 in tunnels. Oh, what? Another underpass? Hell yeah. Yep, it's a lot of fun and games. A lot of fun and games in this car. My dream supercar that I absolutely love to 99% at least. But yeah, I mean, I am no one to complain because I am blessed enough to get to own my dream supercar, which is a Ferrari F12. If you guys follow along on the channel for a while, you know that I've had this car for almost 2 years now. You remember the delivery video and all the videos that we've done so far. But there are a few things with this car that just, you know, like any car, it'll annoy the living out of you. So here are indeed a couple annoying things that I absolutely hate about my Ferrari F12. Exhibit 1. Yep, the gas cap. The gas cap will pop up on its own while you're out driving. I guess it's because of like vibrations and bumps in the road and that kind of thing. So the little magnet thing here that holds the gas cap together, you push a button inside the door and that button sits right there. So initially I thought maybe I hit my knee on the button and that's why the gas cap started flinging open. But that's not it, because you can't open it while you're driving. It won't let you do it. So why is it annoying? Well, it's mainly, I guess, embarrassing, because I'll be driving down the road and then you have a bunch of people driving by you and they're like, dude, your gas cap's open. And then you see like Stupid supercar owner, gas cap doesn't even work. But just to be on the safe side that I don't have to pull over on the side of the road and like close my gas cap in traffic, I put Scotch tape on there. And when people see that I have Scotch tape on my Ferrari, it's even more embarrassing. So that's definitely one thing I hate about my Ferrari F12. Now, with that being said, the car is going to service this month, and they're going to be fixing that. But still, it's been going on for a while here, and it's kind of annoying. Which is somewhat a segue to something else that's annoying, but it's not really number two, and it's not really the car's fault. It's just that I live here in Pittsburgh, PA. It's a sizable city. You know, we have 3 huge sports teams and stuff, but we have 0 exotic car dealerships here. None. So if I need service on this car, I got to take it to the closest one, which is Columbus, Ohio, or Dublin, Ohio, which is about almost 3 hours away. So that's kind of annoying. They have to have the car, you know, trailered every time. But again, that's not the car's fault. That's my fault for living here. So before we carry on with things that I hate about this car, I'm going to mention one thing that I absolutely love about Ferrari, and that is that they have a 7-year free maintenance plan that carries over to the other owners. So it's a 2015. I've had it for 2 years, bought it in 2019, and I have had zero, nada, zilch, null expenses in maintenance for this car, which is pretty freaking cool for a I bought it, you know, for $250,000 used for a supercar that I haven't spent a dime in maintenance. With that being said, we're gonna jump inside here, which is kind of nice because it's extremely cold outside in Pittsburgh, PA. And that's a good segment to the climate system. And thing number 2 that we're going to cover here, I guess pertains to a broader scale of these type of cars. It is an exotic, it's a Ferrari, so they can be finicky. So sometimes I'll get in the car, start it, and the climate system works just fine. Like a day like this, of course, you want the heat on, and today it works. But sometimes when I'll shut the car off, and we'll see if it does it here, I'm going to start it back up. But now it does, yes! Sometimes when I turn the car back on, the climate won't work. So what I've figured out that I have to do is I have to shut the car off and turn it back on, and then it'll work. Now, why does it do this? I have no idea. I'm just figuring that it's finicky. So that brings us to the third thing that I kind of hate about this car. Now, if we look at it, it's absolutely gorgeous. The interior is actually why I bought this specific F12. It has the red leather interior. It's got the Ferrari race seats. Now I have to say that the leather it's good quality. It's nice to the touch. It seems premium and you know, good quality, like it should be. Cars is stupid expensive. This was, you know, again, over $400,000 brand new. So, you know, with that price tag, it should be good quality. But, you know, some things, they're not. This window, for instance, when I'm driving, listen to this. And yeah, of course it's a driver's side window. I can't really close it properly, I guess. So I always hear this whooshing sound when I'm driving. So right there, it's fully closed. And what I figured out is that you have to slightly push it down and then it gets better, but not perfect. So I always get this whooshing sound. You know, it's just those little things. Like I don't hear a whooshing sound in my 1994 Ford Ranger from the window. I mean, I hear a bunch of clunking and stuff because it's an old truck, but no whooshing sound from the window. I don't hear it in my truck. I don't hear it in my AMG. I don't hear it in a Raptor. I didn't hear it in my E60 M5. That came from actually from the sunroof, but not the driver's side window. So I had them look at this last time it was in for service, and they did adjust it a little bit, but not perfect. So it just makes you wonder, like, what the hell? You can't adjust the window? Is it some like factory defect or something like that? So when it's going to service again this month, they're going to look at it again, and also the gas cap, and hopefully it'll be fixed, because on longer trips it gets annoying all the time. Which brings me to number 4, which is another factory quality defect in this extremely expensive car. Now, many of you will already know about this because I made a full video about it, you know, when I noticed it, and then we made a video about it when we got it fixed. It's a common F12 problem, which now, again, is fixed. And the good thing, I have to say, is that Ferrari paid for this. But Ferrari F12s, some 458s will get it here in the wheel well, but the F12s get them right here by this air vent that lets out heat. And the factory defect was that the aluminum panel, when they painted it, there was a defect in either the aluminum or whatever it is. I'm not an expert on this stuff. So the paint started corroding here around this air vent on both sides. I almost thought I had more there, but that was just a snowflake. So on both sides it did. And long story short, the car had to be repainted. This whole rear quarter panel here, up in the roof, I forget now, but the roof, and then they kind of mixed it, matched it together here somewhere. So yes, it's a good thing that Ferrari paid for it. I mean, that would have cost me an arm and a leg to have that repainted on my own dime. But again, it's like a factory defect on a car like this, where it starts corroding after just a few years. Now, with that being said, some people might say like, Mike, why do you even mention this? This is not good, it's an exotic. This might like lower its value if you ever sell it and blah, blah, blah. You should just try to keep it on the download that it was repainted, because to be honest, it's not a good thing that that's out and about, that an exotic has been repainted, because it does kind of lower the value of the car a little bit. But on this channel, what I do is I cover ownership experiences of my cars, whether they benefit me or not. And since I put that video out, I had several other F12 owners contact me and said that, you know, they have the same issue with their car. But again, it was taken care of. Ferrari paid for it. And also, again, I have spent zero, nilch, nada, nothing, null, in maintenance or repairs for this car. Only modifications and a lot of gas from driving it around all the time. So yeah, which brings us to number 5 here. We'll jump back inside and we got to start it back up. And this is part of the finickiness. Look at that. AVH system failure, EPB failure, which is the electronic parking brake. And I'm too lazy to get the owner's manual out and stuff. But if you look in the owner's manual, it says don't drive the car with this light on, the brakes can lock up, blah, 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 all this scary stuff. So yeah, what you have to do is turn the car back off. You open the door, wait a little bit, have all the lights shut off, all that good stuff. It gets finicky when you turn the car off and then you want to restart it like pretty soon again. If the car's been sitting for a long time, as long as it's tendered, let's say a month, 2 months, it starts up just fine, everything is, you know, all good. But if I turn the car off and it's been running for a while, I've been driving it around like I have now, I turn it off and I want to turn it back on pretty soon again, it can do this stuff. And I gotta wait a little bit, finicky, it's weird. There we go. Look at that. She decided to play ball here. No issues. A Ferrari always has a system check. We got a check engine light for about 10 seconds and then it goes away. So that's not really an annoying part, that it's a check engine light for 10 seconds or it beeps. I love it. It's a Ferrari. It's supposed to sound like a freaking fighter jet's about to take off. So the 5th thing that we're gonna mention here is something that I noticed, like, I don't know, 2 weeks after I bought the car, because I hadn't even turned the stereo on. My specific F12 has the JBL sound system, which is the premium sound system upgrade that the original owner spec'd for the car. And it's a pretty good stereo system, I have to say. And yeah, I just forgot, I can't demonstrate this because it's radio music and I'll get demonetized. But I noticed that this speaker here was blown. Again, it's like a quality issue. Why would the speaker be blown? Do I really care all that much? Because I don't really listen to the radio when I'm driving this car. No, I don't really care all that much, but it should work. I can probably just have that, like, replace that little speaker there or something, but you know, again, it's one of those things. This is kind of like broken on this car. And I'm like, it's not supposed to be broken. It's so expensive. You know what I mean? So I guess I can't say that it's fully reliable. It's reliable mechanically, like, well, maybe not, because there's an issue when we start it up every now and then. But the engine is fine. It runs just perfectly. Sounds amazing. So all these little things that we mentioned in today's video, they, you know, honestly, they don't really matter, because every time I drive this car, it's a freaking blast. It puts a smile on my face every time, still, almost 2 years later. But there it is. I don't want to complain about this car anymore because I love it so much. Again, I'm the most blessed person on earth that I can drive around in a Ferrari F12. I'm just a regular Joe Schmo. But yet I have a car like this, and that's just awesome in itself. And we're gonna end the video with that, but I'm gonna remind you guys about the awesome opportunity you guys have with Omaze. When you donate, you have a chance to win this Ford F250 Platinum, actually, by the way, plus 20 grand in cash and all your taxes paid for. And at the same time, you're supporting a great cause. So omaze.com/AutoVlog, use AutoVlog 150 at checkout for an additional 150 free entries, which increases your chance to win the F250. If you're a Ferrari F12 owner and you have other issues than I do, leave them in the comments below. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.